Welcome to the Brown County Hour.
Coming to you from the legendary Hills of Brown,
where the plum purple haze,
the one nature herself drapes over the hills and hollers,
inspires local characters, artists, and nature lovers.
It's as though the hills themselves conspire to create a beauty and culture in the heart of Indiana.
Sit for a spell and hear the music.
Tall tales,
true stories,
and current goings-on.
Brought to you by folks who still know how to sit by a fire in winter
and swim buck naked in summer.
Welcome to episode 160 of the Brown County Hour. This is Sarah Lytle.
And Dave Seastrom, along with the rest of the crew. This month, our musical guest is Caitlin May. We'll listen to her interview with 3 original songs. Sarah Lytle shares a few memories that impacted her life, and we have a first in the series from Rick Albertson, Stoveside Surveys.
We have an interview with local artist Kurt Eagleman and a poem from Gunther Flum. We also have essays from Jeff Tryon and Dave Seastrom, and another short story from Deb Bowden.
Our first segment begins with our conversation with Caitlin May, followed by her original song, House Sitting. In a piece called I Remember When, Sarah Lytle recalls learning life lessons about discrimination, starting when 7-year-old Sarah went swimming on the first day of an integrated city pool.
Hello, Brown County. This is Lucy Schultz on Brown County Hour, WFHB. I'm here today with rising country music star Caitlin May. Hey, Caitlin, how are you today?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for having me.
We met about 2.5 years ago when I was briefly in the country music industry. You've played in Little Nashville now twice, Nashville, Indiana. You actually just performed at my house concert and you blew everybody away yesterday.
Oh my gosh, I had the best time. I can't thank you yet again for having me. It was the best time. I loved it. It was so great to play alongside Sherry Ann and to appear at the Brown County Art Farm.
So you're currently calling Nashville, Tennessee home. What brought you all the way from Wales, UK to the US?
When I was 2 years old, my parents bought a vacation home in Florida, and that was my first taste of the USA. And from that moment on, I knew that I wanted to live in America. I tried to convince my parents on many occasions to just pack up and leave. Then I realized Nashville, Music City, existed. I changed gears and I wanted to be there. And I think my parents knew years before I actually made the move that I was going to end up there.
Who's your biggest inspiration and why?
My biggest inspiration has always been and will always be my mum. She has supported me 100% wholeheartedly with everything she has and more. And my dad too. I really feel like we're always on the same page, and she's more than a mum. She's my best friend, my shoulder to cry on.
Your momager.
My momager, my everything. I would love for her to be by my side right now. I know that day is to come, and one day we'll all call Tennessee home.
You have a fabulous new song out called House Sitting and have embarked on a tour to promote this song. Tell us about this.
When I wrote the song House Sitting, I came home one day after playing a show. It's so different to when I would go home back in the UK and the lights would be on and there'd be someone to open the door and greet me, and it was just less lonely, and it was what I was used to and what I grew up with. And so house sitting is really about feeling like you're not at home where you're supposed to be. And I think so many people have that feeling. And I really wanted to embark on a tour to promote this single. And it just made sense for it to be a house concert tour since the song is called House Sitting. Everybody on my team was on board when I came up with this crazy idea, and they supported it, and they've been on the road with me, whether they're 4,000 miles away like my parents are, and they are huge supporters of my music and myself, or whether they're right in Nashville with me. And it meant that I got to come back to Nashville, Indiana. It meant that I got to play many shows in Indiana. I've just really loved being here.
scared because we stopped fighting. We used to see red, now we see black and white instead. Color is overrated, you said. Then why are the roses dead? My favorite flower was red. The walls are bare in places we used to be. Picture frames shattered are better than empty as glass meets brick. I wish it could have been different in the house we built. Guess I was just house sitting. Hate to be glass half empty, but you've been drinking without me. Used to hold my breath till you came home, but that was before you found a new one. Now the clock ticks for no reason. I knew you through every season. Now all I know is our reruns. The walls are bare in places we used to be. Picture frames shattered are better than empty as glass meets brick. I wish it could have been different in the house we built. Guess I was just house sitting. House sitting. Bricks and mortar, wine to water, water to nothing at all. Showing up to showing off, then walking right at our front door. If only our love could be more than a memory. Picture frames shattered are better than empty as glass meets brick. I wish it could have been different in the house we built. Guess I was just house sitting. House sitting. House sitting.
Tell me about your Dreamers.
My first ever single that I released back when I was 16, I think I wrote it when I was 15. I released that song. It was a line dancing song. The Dreamers came into existence, and especially during COVID, a lot of people started following me online, and we would go to concerts online. I reached a lot of people, whether they were in the UK with me, or they were in the USA, or Australia, Norway, all these places that I couldn't even imagine reaching before that happened. And then when we came out of COVID times, they actually would show up at my shows physically, even if they were really far away, they would make those journeys. I realized that there's a dreamer in every single one of us. I felt like it made sense that they had a name, and that name was always destined to be the Dreamers.
Many of your songs have been #1 on the iTunes chart. Explain to our listeners why this is so important.
It really is a huge help to climb any of the charts that are out there, whether they're the radio charts for that specific country or that area, or the iTunes charts, which can also be global. Quite a few of my songs and even EPs, so larger projects, have hit the charts, and some of them have reached #1. Not only is it a huge stride career-wise, for morale, it is a really huge deal because you realize that people actually want to buy your music, actually want to listen to it. You realize that that support defies so many borders. They still go online and buy the music and listen to the music. That just, to me, shows that I'm doing what I was meant to do, or at least what I felt like I was meant to do in my heart. And maybe I'm not the only one who feels that way.
You are not the only one that feels that way. Let me just reiterate that.
Thank you so much.
What's your process when you write a song?
99% of the time, I'm already inspired, and then I sit down to write the song because that inspiration is too big to ignore. So I sit down, whether I have my guitar with me, or I could be traveling, I could be sitting on a train and somebody inspires me, or I can hear a conversation between two people who, are in love, or they're arguing, or they're a parent and a child, and I think that is the perfect song. And like the picture is right in front of me, and I just have to put the picture into words. And it's my favorite thing to do. Songwriting is a gift, music is a gift, and then getting to share it on top of that is a privilege. I just pinch myself every day that I get to call this my life. And not only do I get to call it my life, I get to call it my job. The process is really down to everybody else around me. They're the ones that inspire me, and the people that I meet along the way and the experiences that I have firsthand also play into it. I'm grateful for every single person that I've met and every single person that I've overheard on the train.
You use your platform to speak to your dreamers about anti-bullying and the need for good mental health. Tell us why this topic is so important to you.
When I was in high school, I was really badly bullied, which I know a lot of people go through that, and a lot of people don't have support systems and people to turn to. For me, that was my parents. I knew that I could go home and I could run into their arms and they would wipe my tears away, and they would be there for me no matter what and fight for me, most importantly, because when you're going through something difficult, you often feel like you don't have the strength to fight for yourself. And that's not to say that someday you won't have the strength to fight for somebody else, but it can be hard to stand up for what's right when you're the one being wronged. So high school was a difficult time for me. That also made me the person that I am today, and I think also encouraged me to chase my dreams that little bit harder and that little bit faster, and to have this passion that saved me. I don't know what I would have done without it. And again, I know some people don't have that and they don't have a support system. And if I can be that for one person, then I've done what I set out to do. And if I could do that for more than one person, it would just be
for that whole stadium.
Yeah, for that whole stadium. That's what I want. That's my dream. It's not about just wanting to sing for as many people as possible, but it's about the story and the connection, the relatability, because if I had had somebody who could have done that for me,
right,
who maybe wasn't my parents, who were going to be biased and going to be there for me no matter what, I think I may have questioned myself less, because I often thought, well, maybe I'm the problem and my parents just love me, so they're going to tell me that I'm not the problem. But it turns out that if you're being kind and other people are not leading with kindness, then you are never the problem.
That's absolutely true. Where can your new dreamers go to keep up with you?
They can find me across all social media platforms at Caitlin May Music, which is Caitlin, May, Mae, and then music. And you can find me across all music platforms at Caitlin May, spelled the same way, and my website is caitlinmay.com.
I hope that your career continues to rapidly gain speed and you break through the glass ceiling to the top very soon. Your dreamers believe in you, Caitlin.
Thank you so much. It really means the world to me, and they are the reason that I do what I do and I get to be here. I'll always be grateful.
I've been speaking with my good friend Caitlin May. This is Lucy Schultz on Brown County Hour, WFHB. Bye, Brown County.
Bye, Brown County.
I remember when integration of public pools began slowly. This was 1945 to the mid-60s. At the time that Greendale, Indiana swimming pool was integrated, I was maybe 7 years old. I remember neighborhood talk, "We won't let our kids swim there. We'll put a pool in our own yard." Municipalities across the country closed pools or simply allowed them to degrade. Prices dropped for residential pools. Demand rose. At my house, we got season tickets to the public pool. On Integration Day, I remember my excitement and discovery that we are like them. Lined up on the edge, waiting for the whistle to blow. "Pool is open, everybody swim!" I didn't jump. I stayed to watch the water change, like when you've been digging for worms and then wash your hands. The water didn't change, so I jumped and spent the entire day swimming and laughing with a black girl about my age. We had so much fun. I couldn't ride my bike home fast enough to tell Mom, people are wrong. They're just like us with pink tongues, the whitest teeth, and even the soles of their hands and their feet look like ours. People are just wrong, Mom. The water doesn't change. That day I changed. My eyes, ears, and heart opened. I also remember when our arch rivals, the Aurora Red Devils, reigned hometown advantage against us, the Lawrenceburg Tigers. Near sundown, they called timeout. Our black players had to leave the field or court, get bussed out of town, and our B-string players finished the game. Fans murmured, "Sundown towns are illegal. Somebody needs to put a stop to this. Enough is enough." By the time I reached high school, Aurora was stopped from barring our athletes, but still no blacks lived in their town. While upriver, we elected an interracial couple for football, queen and king. The school board attempted to call a recount. Students organized a walkout. We lined the lockers and halls chanting, "The vote stands, the vote stands." And the vote stood. This was 1972. I left Lawrenceburg for Ball State University thinking big strides in equality had been made. And then I learned big lessons about sexual inequality. I remember when Ball Gym was used by men and women. The roof leaked and upgrades were needed, so a state-of-the-art gym was being built. This was 1974, my freshman year. The new facility became the men's gym. They could still use the women's gym, but we couldn't use theirs. By second year on the gymnastics team, I injured my hip on the uneven parallel bars. Coach Elaine, a Spitfire from Alaska and on her second year at Ball State, prescribed moist heat treatments. But the only deep heat system was in the men's gym. No women allowed. Coach Elaine reminded the athletic department and trustees that Indiana is one of the 50 states in the nation. Title IX was passed in 1972, 3 years ago, and my girls will receive by law the same opportunities as your boys. During treatments, I was called every slur and sexist label you can conjure. I told friends, friends told the coach, I got an escort and security guard. I also remember when rapes on campus were not reported in the local news or student news. Officials professed that Ball State does not have those big problems. Coach Elaine informed us that no one leaves alone, especially to cross campus at night. A fraternity set up a free door-to-door walk-drive escort service. So it's from coaches, teachers, shopkeepers that we learned about rapists and kidnappers. 10 years later, I remember when change went drastically in the wrong direction. A cross burned in a black family's yard in Lawrenceburg. My niece was in that house, spending the night with her friend. I could not remember that happening, the 18 years I had lived there. Now, I do remember when change in equality and humanity was positive. This was Muncie, 2005. Kate had 2 moms. Kate was one of my son Jesse's best friends. Once I got to know her moms, we began after-school trades. My house or theirs, kids would practice trumpet, do homework, and play. I couldn't have asked for better caregivers than Kate's 2 moms. It was a win-win for everyone. A few years later, Jesse and I moved to a house owned by retired English professor Wade Jennings. He was one of the most kind, generous, clever men I have known. Wade lived next door and rented 3 rooms to grad students. Every Sunday, he prepared amazing dinners for the household and guests. I was often a guest and usually the only woman at this grand table surrounded by delightful gay men. These Gabers became the most caring, trusted people in my neighborhood. Our country is growing smaller and smaller as we allow friends and allies to be alienated, demonized, and disappeared. Change is inevitable, but growth is optional. I hope you choose to grow community with heart and humanity. For everyone, the time has come to choose your change. This is Sarah Lytle with the Brown County Hour and WFHB.
Now we pause for station identification.
You are listening to the Brown County Hour on volunteer-powered community radio, WFHB, at 100.7 in Brown County, 91.3 and 98.1 in Bloomington, 106.3 in Ellettsville, and online at wfhb.org.
Support for WFHB comes from Our Brown County, a magazine for locals and visitors featuring art, entertainment, and county characters since 1995. Printed 6 times a year and available online. More information at ourbrowncounty.com.
Segment 2 includes an interview with Kurt Eagleman about a recent show at his art gallery featuring gay artists. And we end the segment with Caitlin May's song, Little Black Dress. But first, we introduce a new recurring feature. The author of the book Brown County Folks, Rick Albertson, shares meditations from his new book, Stoveside Surveys, recorded next to the wood stove in his cabin on Greasy Creek Road. Each episode has a companion photo that you can view on our website, and Rick starts each piece with a description of that photo.
Looking at a photo of the newly exposed brown soil in the area I recently cleared from the forest behind the cabin. A statement never more certain nor true. Nature rules. If so, I'm apparently a rejecter of certain truths and perhaps insane. Albert Einstein is attributed, though questionably so, with the observation that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I spent a lot of effort with the help of Michelle and Heather and Cody and crew to reclaim and repurpose the forest near the cabin to a grassy field, an attempt to beat back nature, to civilize it. The ladies bush hogged the little trees and brush away. The guys cut down a few trees, picked up countless dead branches, and burned the brush. I, the 73-year-old weakling, stumbled along, tripping ever so often, falling a time or two, backpack blowing away the season's leaves and many previous seasons' tick-infested detritus below. The guys will soon return to cut the short stumps even shorter, spread lime to neutralize the soil's acidity, and sowed shade-tolerant grass seed. For you see, I think, I hope, I pray, in a rare moment of optimism, that I can beat back nature, that the newly cleared land will become a gregariously green, grassed backyard. Yet more in line with my pessimistic personality, I'll be surprised if nature doesn't once again make a mockery of my futile attempts. It rules. It always rules. I know better.
This is Lucy Schultz on Brown County Hour, WFHB. I'm here with Brown County artist and owner of Second Story Gallery, Kurt Eagleman. Hi, Kurt. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm so glad that you're in our studio today. What's been going on with the Second Story these days? I heard there's a new exhibit. Tell me about it.
Yes, there is. There is. It's been busy, crazy times, but we just debuted a brand new exhibit last Friday. And it's a collaborative showcase with the Kinsey Institute.
Oh my gosh.
Right there in Bloomington, out of Indiana University, our next door neighbor. And we're showing a collection from their archive. That's from their special collections library. They have this massive archive of historical photographs, art, documents. That's all in what they call their auxiliary library, kind of right across the street from the IU hospital. And we're showcasing this archive collection by an artist named Emilio Sanchez, who's an artist around the early 1930s and 40s. So we're showing that collection, and then we're also showcasing the works of 20 regional artists from in and around the area who were selected to visit the Kinsey Institute and see their archive collection, and then they created works based on their experience. And then we debuted these works alongside this archive show. So we debuted it all together at this exhibit opening.
Oh my gosh, that sounds fantastic.
It was really cool. Yeah, we had a huge celebration. Essentially, the artist Emilio Sanchez, he had kind of two different styles of work. So his outward facing work that was more public facing was more geometric and architectural. And then behind closed doors, he would be a lot more expressive and do figures and forms, more organic and fluid shapes that were more vibrant colors. So during this time, it kind of, these are personal sketches of his. So you get a little bit of exposure to see who he was behind closed doors, and that his outward facing artwork was one thing. And then behind the scenes, he was somebody else. And it's a little bit more revealing that maybe of what his personal life was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that collection is called Intimate Forms. And then, so essentially he was a queer artist, but during that time he couldn't be out with it.
Okay.
So I thought it was kind of timely to do this during Pride Month.
Yeah.
Which is June. So
Yep.
happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
So talking to my collaborators at the Kinsey Institute, we thought it would be great to do an artist call out to see who this would resonate with. So we had over 50 submissions and we selected the top 20 artists. They all have different mediums and backgrounds and perspectives. And their portion of the show is we named Brilliant Hues. So it's kind of like a play on like the design elements, like hues, shape, figure, form, and intimate forms. So Intimate Forms and Brilliant Hues is the name of the show.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a great name. And it's so great to showcase all 50 artists. That's incredible.
20 artists.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, 20 artists. Yeah, it's amazing because they all have different backgrounds. They all have different mediums. So there's photography, there's painting, there's digital art, there's ceramics, sculpture, kind of everything across the board. So we wanted something just, kind of to show how cool it is to have unique perspectives and interesting and different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So
perfect for Brown County.
Exactly.
So anything new coming up after this exhibit?
So this exhibit will be up until July 7th. So it's open from June 7th to July 7th. So you have the entire month to come see it, and it's open for public viewing. So anyone can come and see this exhibit. And then we have a few more shows planned for the rest of summer. Something, a watercolor artist out of Bloomington. We have a show for her. Her name is Emily Wilson Gillespie, and she'll be in mid-July.
Okay.
And then, a few more things that are in the works.
Okay.
So yeah, this was like the big thing. So we're happy to have it now. Slow down.
Yeah, slow it down.
Yeah.
So how do we get a hold of you, Kurt?
So you can go to our website, secondstorystudio.art.
Okay.
Or studio with 3 S's.art.
Okay.
Or on Instagram at second.studio. And yeah, we're also on Facebook, Second Story Studio. So you can see all of kind of our postings and listings there.
Wonderful. I have been interviewing Brown County artist Kurt Eagleman. This is Lucy Schultz on Brown County Hour, WFHB. Bye, Brown County.
Bye, Brown County.
The Meanest Dog Ever by Gunther Flum. Down the road from me, they said, the meanest dog they ever bred lived a life of delicate ease near a cabin in the trees. So me and this here friend of mine thought that if it's genuine, we'd just go and have a look at how he made the record book. Now, I'll admit we both was scared. We drank our beer and got prepared in case we had to fight or flee the meanest dog there ever be. So when we pulled up to the drive, I swear to you that sakes alive, I was shaking like a leaf from head to toe, even teeth. And then I heard my buddy shout, then keel over and pass right out. And there I was alone and stuck in my rusty pickup truck with a dog whose one desire might be to bite my truck and tire and rip it open where I hide, just to eat poor me inside. But when I got a second sight at what gave my buddy such a fright, I was shocked what they had done. That dog had 2 heads, not just one. No wonder he was bad and mean. That dog, he was double team. Why, he could bite you north and south from either side of either mouth. Everywhere that dog would go, he could bark in stereo. That dog, they had the meanest grin, and you could tell they're bad as sin. For as that one would yip and yap, the other's teeth would snarl and snap. So I was scared, now I admit, and so I thought, well, this is it. And slowly I got up my pluck, stepped outside my pickup truck, and as I bent to get a stick, that two-headed dog gave me a lick, and I fell over so surprised, for there they was before my eyes, the meanest dog there ever be, both licking different parts of me. Then its owner, at the door, asked me what I came here for, and so I told the guy the truth, of all the critters fang and tooth, of all the meanest of the lot, it was this here dog he got, that every one would all agree was the meanest there could be. He said, I know what people say, I wish it were the other way. From all the dogs, both big and small, it's the meanest dog of all. I said, now, mister, no offense, but this here dog ain't an offense, or any kind of chain or guard to keep him locked inside your yard. Why, this here dog, they're running free, just as happy as two can be. And even though it's mighty wide, usually heads are on side by side. I hope those don't become a trend. He's got a head on either end. Now, mister, I may sound a fool, your dog can't make no doggy stool. He said, now, friend, you called it true. 'Cause what they eat goes clear on through. Whichever head gets fed the first, the other head will get the worst. And I don't want to be obscene, but that's what makes this dog so mean.
The 14th Annual Indiana State Fingerstyle Guitar Festival is right around the corner, showcasing acoustic guitarists from all over the world. Opening night kicks off with a party at Brown County Inn on July 25th. And the competition and concert will be at the Brown County Playhouse on Saturday the 26th, featuring international champions Tim and Miles Thompson. Prepare to witness musical feats of guitar picking, with more information at indianastringfest.com. That's indianastringfest.com.
This is my song Little Black Dress on Brown County Hour, WFHB.
I've got call, I won't pick up, but don't be alarmed. I'm having fun. You played your cards and lost the bet. I'm laughing now in my little black dress. In my little black dress. I'm not the kind of girl who believes in revenge, but my little black dress does. I'm not the kind of girl who'll ruin your weekend, but you got me thinking it's a black dress kind of evening, yeah. It's a black dress kind of evening, and I'm gonna get even. I'm gonna get even, yeah. In my little black dress.
Now we pause for station identification.
You are listening to the Brown County Hour on volunteer-powered community radio, WFHB, at 100.7 in Brown County, 91.3 and 98.1 in Bloomington, 106.3 in Ellettsville, and online at wfhb.org.
Support for WFHB comes from the Brown County Inn, located just off the main street of Nashville, Indiana, at 51 State Road 46 East. Brown County Inn is also a restaurant, bar, and gathering place for visitors and locals alike. More information at browncountyinn.com.
In our final segment, essayist Jeff Tryon offers advice on staying cool in the dog days of Indiana summer. Deb Bowden is back in character as Aunt Hula Bell, recounting the Battle of the Fireworks. And Dave Seastrom recounts his journey to becoming a Brown County homesteader. We'll close the show with Caitlin May's song, Mr. Moving On.
Keeping cool on a hot summer day. Well, summer is here, and while we can't boast the 100-degree-plus days and weeks that our fellow citizens in the Southwest have been enjoying, it is still Indiana in the summertime, and let's face it, it is hot. I'd much rather be hot than cold, but you can't have too much of a good thing. I find it best to work with the heat, get in a rhythm with it. As Kipling observed, or was it Noel Coward, only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the noonday sun. You've got to learn to enjoy those cool mornings, just as the sun is starting to rise and the first birds are all chirping up. You've got to make an effort to get out and enjoy that special time of day between the day and the night, known as the gloaming of the evening. And of course, if at all possible, simply become a creature of the night, taking all actions which require movement under the cover of the cool, cool darkness. How to keep cool on a hot summer day in Indiana. Movie theaters are air-conditioned, and if you can catch an afternoon matinee, you can neatly avoid the very hottest part of a steamy, sultry day by slipping into a dark, cold room and letting the giant moving pictures carry your mind away to another time and place. You know where it's always nice and cool? In a cave. It's always about 50 degrees year-round down there. And thankfully, due to the limestone which made us famous, southern Indiana is riddled with caves, many of which have been developed as tourist attractions and welcome visitors. There are a few small caves here and there around Brown County, but for the truly cooling, full cave experience, you're probably going to want a day trip down to one of the many developed tourist caves in southern Indiana, such as Blue Springs Cavern, southwest of Bedford, which offers an hour-long boat tour experience of the illuminated underground passages and water courses. Marengo Cave, which claims to be Indiana's most visited natural and national landmark, offers walking tours, hiking, and crawling tours for those of us who like to, just get right down in it and crawl. Squire Boone Caverns, named for the American Revolutionary War veteran and Daniel Boone's brother, who discovered the caverns in 1790, is south of Corydon, about 30 miles west of Louisville, Kentucky. Also near Corydon is Indiana Caverns, opened to the public in 2013. It is the longest cave in Indiana and one of the top 7 in the U.S. They offer a full range of activities, including walking cave tours and cave exploring, or an underground boat ride. So, when it gets just too swelteringly hot up here, above ground, you can always seek relief down in the cool underworld of caverns and caves. Swimming is a nice and refreshing thing to do on a hot summer day, and the Brown County State Park pool is always nice and brisk. I've been taking the grandkids out there a few times this summer, and the water's always nice and cool, even on a blazing hot day. Plus, they love the diving boards. Of course, you'll have to pay a park entry fee and another fee to get into the pool, but let me ask you this. You want to beat the heat, or do you want to whine about the money? It's your call. But you know where it's really cool? Down at the bottom of a nice, deep lake. Sure, the water on top, the first few feet up there, gets pretty warm through the hot summer weather, like soup on most days. But when you take a perfect dive down into the depths of the lake, it's still cold down there. Most of these lakes are fed by underground springs, so there are some really cold spots down there. And as you frolic around in the water, you tend to churn up the cooler water from the bottom. Nothing quite like swimming in a beautiful, pristine Brown County lake on a hot summer day. It not only cools your body, it calms the spirit and helps you get in touch with nature and the universe. That's cool. Now, this may seem a little old-fashioned to you, but one of the best ways to keep cool on an extremely hot day is to simply lie in the shade and remain extremely still. Dogs know. Find a spot of cool shade under the trees, perhaps at the bottom of a deep forested gully. The trick is to remain still and not try to expend any energy at all, because that generates heat. You'll have to get there early, by maybe 10 or 11 in the morning, and stay until well after 5 or 6 in the evening, when it finally begins to cool down. So maybe you better bring a sandwich or a piece of fruit. This is a good time for napping or thinking and writing or reading. If one were to drop off into slumber with an open book over one's face, that wouldn't be the worst thing. Now, I will end this little guide to surviving hot weather by revealing the coolest place in Brown County on the hottest summer and fall days. It is in my house, in my living room. Our house, is really my wife's house, is a log cabin with a modern house built over it and around it. What heat the house absorbs tends to get trapped on the upper floors or outer rooms, and the logs surrounding the living room seem to further insulate it and keep it cool. The large stone fire area also seems to stay cool and make the room cooler. The only windows are north-facing. Also, the house is located at the bottom of a steep, narrow ravine that is heavily forested in the depths of a cool, shady Brown County valley. It is always cool in there, even on the hottest day. So, despite the temptation to go out and seek relief in any of these other assuredly cool places, my best bet on a sweltering summer day is to simply stay at home and enjoy the ancient technology of an old-fashioned log cabin. Stay cool.
Aunt Hillabelle here to tell you a story that some folks don't believe, but I know is true because I was there when it all started. 2 of my neighbors' houses sit side by side, each on a couple acres. One's owned by the Greens and the other by the Kings. Names changed to protect the guilty, understand. In between is a wide strip of land that both sides claim. Each had their own deed, which shows that the parcel belonged to them, owing to a problem with the county surveyor many years ago. I think he was tiddling. As far as anybody knows, no one had a problem as long as they didn't fence in that land. They kept the peace. But that didn't stop the competition between the families. One year, Smoot's Greens shot off fireworks on that disputed strip. The next year, Arlo King reciprocated. Each time, the still flaming debris rained down on others' roofs, gravel drive, and yard. That's when the battle started. The third year, each decided to outdo the other with fireworks purchased outside of Indiana. Both bought a truckload of the biggest and best they could find. Lord knows what that cost them. Each set up their arsenal on that land and had their families over to watch and party. There was tons of barbecue, chips, and cases of beer. Chairs were set out and relatives as scorecards to rate the show. The Greens and Kings laid bets. Arlo won the coin toss, so he went first. As soon as the sun set, Arlo fired his rocket. 5 loud explosions and 10 displays containing all the colors of the rainbow flashed in the evening sky way up high above the clouds. The battle was on. Even the fireworks the Lions Club shot off at the football stadium couldn't match the sights and thundering sounds of the sky over those warring houses. Smoke was billowing in the air and debris was flying fast and furious. Wildlife and pets were skedaddling anywhere they could find to hide. This caught the attention of cruising cars who couldn't find places to park to watch the official celebration due to all the tourists taking the spots. So locals followed the colors and explosions to the whirring neighbors. I guess they figured any celebration was good enough, better in this case. Wasn't long before cars, trucks, motorcycles, and any other conveyances were parked on the side of the road, in the lane, and in surrounding yards. Lots more you'd see at a yearly yard sale on Artist Drive. Many sat in their car hoods or blankets and pulled out their coolers full of drinks and snacks. Kids ran wild everywhere. Even police cruisers showed up to manage traffic, and a fire truck sat nearby in case all that flaming debris raining down caught something on fire. They didn't shut the rivalry down because Smoots and Arlo were their relatives too. They just got in on the betting. Even neighbors who were home brought out hoses and started spraying the ground nearby as they watched and cheered. Yeehaw! Being there was a drought, you understand, they had to get the water out. The battle raged for some 90 minutes, and it would have gone on longer if both sides hadn't run out of ammunition. Folks voted it was a tie because they just couldn't decide. The next day there was a huge mess all over the yards, but nobody complained. Folks pitched in, the properties were cleaned up in no time. Neighbors enjoyed the rivalry so much they all voted to do it again the next year and started right then and there giving money to the Greens and Kings to help buy more fireworks, bigger and fancier ones. Admittedly, a lot of that cash was donated from all the betting and gambling that went on the night before since nobody won. No matter, it was the best fun the locals had had in years of Sundays. They even got a permit downtown to make it all legal. That's how Brown County got written up in the magazines and tourist guides as the best small town where to celebrate 4th of July. Our neighborhood started giving out free passes to the locals so they could get first dibs on parking spots. Tourists had to pay, of course, if they could find places.
This is Lucy Schultz on Brown County Hour, and I'm sitting here with Tony White. Hi, Tony. How you doing today?
Pretty well, thank you.
Yeah, I heard that you are doing the euchre tournaments out at the 19th hole.
That's correct. Every Tuesday at 6:30.
Okay.
Yes.
And just bring your partner, or how does it work?
You can bring your partner, show up solo. If you show up solo, we'll find you a partner. We play 5 games, twice around the table. Highest score, you write your score down at the end of the night. Highest score wins. Pretty simple, easy to play, no pressure, just fun, a lot of fun. Totally free to play, and a $50 gift certificate for first, $25 for second, $10 for third.
We all could go out and play some euchre. That's
right.
One of my favorite games.
Come on out, we'll take anybody. Like I said, we usually have anywhere from 12 to 18 teams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's quite a few players. You rotate and everybody meets new people, and you hear the most common things, you hear laughter all night. From different tables are laughing or yelling or screaming, but not in a mean way. Just, because somebody gets a loner or somebody, whatever. It's just a good time. It's overall good time. Yeah. It's 6:30 every Tuesday night at the 19th hole at Salt Creek Golf. Yeah, it's every Tuesday.
I've been speaking with Tony White, who runs the euchre tournaments at the 19th hole at Salt Creek Golf Course. This is Lucy Schultz on Brown County Hour.
My Swedish grandfather on my father's side had a 40-acre farm in Geneva, Illinois, and 2 of my great-grandparents were farmers in northern Indiana. Everyone else was in business or railroading. From early childhood, I knew I did not want to live in the city. What I wanted was to live on the land, build my own house, and raise animals and produce. By the time I came along, there was no one in the family that still farmed, and I was 2 generations removed from the direct knowledge of farming practices. This meant that I had to acquire the skills and knowledge to fulfill my dream some other way. My journey into homesteading began by reading Grow It by Richard Langer, was followed by a subscription to Organic Gardening and the Philosophy of Bob Rodale. Books like Living the Good Life with Scott Nearing and the works of Gene Logston filled my bookshelves. Hours were spent perusing the Whole Earth catalog and dreaming of becoming a member of the Back to the Land movement. A first attempt resulted in purchasing 40 acres in outback Arkansas. an unexpected pregnancy, and the reality of raising children where there were no other children caused us to reconsider. After 5 years, we sold that land and used the profit for a down payment on a homestead in Brown County. We moved here in 1977 with no money, a brand new baby boy, and a heart full of dreams. We had 3.5 acres with a house, barn, and a couple of outbuildings. Almost immediately, we acquired 2 dogs, 2 horses, 3 goats, a dozen chickens, and it felt like we were becoming full-fledged homesteaders. After 1.5 years of commuting, I became a self-employed jeweler, and then we were really poor. The horses were too expensive for us, and they were sold. After 5 years of milking goats twice a day, we decided to give them up as well. This left us with dogs and chickens. The dream to build my own home was ever present, and the contents of my library shifted to carpentry and construction books. As a self-employed person, I expanded my skill set by working as a part-time contractor. I learned basic carpentry skills and hung and finished a lot of drywall to make ends meet. At this point, we had 2 children, a boy and a girl, and both of them went to Helmsburg Elementary. During that time, I was presented with an opportunity to drive a bus for the school that my kids attended. For the next 3 years, I owned and operated Bus 16, and I hauled hippie kids from Needmore to and from school. This was an ideal combination at the time because in between the bus runs, I was at home making jewelry, and after school, our kids rode home with me. The unexpected bonus was the lifelong friendships that I made with several of my bus kids. In the early 80s, I was helping my friend Chris build his home on Possum Trot, and 22 acres came up for sale at the far end of the road. Surrounded by Yellowwood State Forest, we immediately fell in love with the property and arranged to purchase it on contract. This was 1981. During the next 6 years, we put our existing home on the market and made a clearing on our land where the new house would go. The economy was terrible at the time, and our house sold 3 times, and each time the sale fell through due to financing. Just as we were about to give up, the house sold, and we had 30 days to move out. It was all I could do to finish building the house, and we moved in during the week of Thanksgiving in 1987. The bus contract ended the summer before. The bus was sold, and the proceeds were added to the house building fund. It seems unbelievable to remember, but with the money from the house and the bus, we were able to pay off the land and construction costs and move into our new home free and clear. The total cost of the house was $30,000, and it was little more than a plywood box covered in Tyvek. We had all of the basics, but it took several years to finish. Along the way, the first wife and I parted ways, and then I met the love of my life, and we've been together now for almost 32 years. Through it all, I never gave up the dream. 50 years later, I'm retired, and now, in the twilight of my life, I am once and for all a homesteader. This is Dave Seastrom. See you next time.
You're listening to Mr. Moving On.
A little older this October, I think he'll find another girl a lot like me, but she'll do it right. She'll have a plan, she'll have a ring, they'll swim where we started to sink. I think I know where I went wrong, but it's too late, 'cause now he's gone. I didn't know I was in love till he fell out of it. He couldn't wait any longer. Got your hopes up, learn the ropes, but that ship has sailed. I'll have his tattoo on my heart. He'll have a new girl on his arm. He'll see my pictures on his phone. He'll block my number and let me go. I didn't know I was in love till he fell out of it. Hey, I couldn't wait any longer for me to admit it. It takes a bad guy to know you're safe with him. Now he's Mr. Moving on, and all I have left is this song. I wanna say it was your fault. You weren't in it for the long haul. That would be a tale so tall. You were there throughout the fall. The leaves were red, your flags were green. I preferred the naked trees. It was so cold, I chose to freeze. You had to beg me on your knees. I didn't know I was in love till he fell out of it. I couldn't wait any longer for me to admit it. It takes a bad guy to know you're safe with him. Now he's Mr. Moving on, and all I have left is this song. Is this song. All I have left is this song.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 160 of the Brown County Hour. This show was recorded in our studio at the History Center here in downtown Nashville and brought to you the first Sunday of every month at 9 a.m. and the following Wednesday at 6 p.m. and anytime online. Be sure to look for us on your favorite streaming services.
The Brown County Hour is brought to you by a diverse group of folks who believe, now more than ever, the world is for everyone.
This show was produced by
Chuck Wills,
Pam Rader,
Rick Fettig,
Vera Grubbs,
Lucy Schultz,
Sarah Lytle,
Chad Carruthers,
and Dave Seastrom. We would also like to thank Slats Klug for our theme music. You have been listening to the Brown County Hour.
coming to you from deep in the woods of Brown County, Indiana.
Celebrating the arts, culture, and nature that make this such a unique community.
Visit us online at browncountyhour.com.
The Brown County Hour is a production of WFHB.
Volunteer-powered, listener-supported community radio for South Central Indiana.
Take me back to my home, Brown County home.